Setting realistic goals is so important. Between the on-campus stuff that I had to do and trying to post one video a month, I had to find actual balance. Coming into this year, I thought that I'd have the same time and energy to make the same kind of videos and my work at the same time, but that proved to be very false very quickly. And when I discovered that falsehood, I thought there was something wrong with me. Like, why can't I do what I've proven to myself I can do? Why can't I juggle everything I have in my life? Like, what's the issue with me? And that's when I met the cruel judge that is condemnation. Condemnation told me, it's not gonna work. You're disappointing God. You're behind. You're falling behind. Still having learned. Condemnation judged me for not being able to have the same kind of output that I had in the summer. Condemnation pitted me against myself. Condemnation was my enemy, and I began to compare myself to a previous season. In reality, I was just busier. Being in school now meant that I had a higher priority than YouTube, and that just took me some time to accept and adjust to, which is cool, but due to condemnation, during that time of acceptance, I was struggling to complete anything that I had to do with any sort of effectiveness. I was struggling to be an effective student. I was struggling to make content. I was struggling to give myself credit for anything. Nothing was good enough. And it really added weight to those days where I would experience depression. For example, with money. I've been trying to budget more and be responsible with my purchases, but when it comes to like video equipment or camera gear, the money can add up very fast. And most times where I would fall short, make a less than wise purchase, or just buy something off of impulse, my first reaction was always to let condemnation do its thing. But once I began to push back on condemnation and realize how it never got me anywhere, I realized that it truly was my enemy, and then my perspective began to flip. I started seeing my shortcomings more as chances to grow and learn, and less of chances to point out how imperfect I was. I began to aim at pushing myself higher and not just pointing out how low I was. And this is the point when I met the assertive shepherd that is conviction. Conviction told me, don't go that way, it's not safe. God still loves you. You can make the choice to repent. That's not God's will. God still loves you. Give God your burden. Give it to God. The weight of the world is not on you. Trust God. He still loves you. Conviction had a stern yet loving voice. Conviction wanted the best for me. Conviction was my friend. Mark 12:41. Jesus sat down in the collection box in the temple and watched as crowds dropped in their money. Many rich people put in large amounts. Then a poor widow came and dropped in 2 small coins. Jesus called his disciples to him and said, I tell you the truth, this poor woman has given more than all the others who are making contributions. For they have given a tiny part of their surplus, but she, poor as she is, has given everything she had to live on. Here, Jesus is focusing more on the heart posture of those who gave and less on the amount that they were giving. In my own life, I thought that since I couldn't give 6 hours a day to writing and editing and planning, that I would fall short in my YouTube career and that I couldn't find the same success that I found in the summer. I thought that since now I couldn't spend an entire day reading like one story in the Bible, that God would see me as less useful. My focus was all wrong. God isn't looking for me to give the same exact amount in every season, but he is looking for me to give the same way in every season. Because God's not looking for our money or our works or whatever we can give. He's looking for your heart. He's looking for me to give with a heart that is submitted to him and trusting in him. Give what you can and allow God to multiply. Because busy does not always equal productive. So evaluate yourself and ask God, what can I give in this season? How can I give out of my heart more fully in this season? Because it's not the amount, it's the level of faith. What I can give now is videos in my room, lightly scripted, but still led by God nonetheless. And when I can give more in this area, I will. Because right now, I have bigger priorities than just making videos. And although this channel is a ministry, it's not the only way that I can honor God in my life. And I shouldn't attach my life's purpose to an assignment that I was given. Because my purpose in any season will and will always be to honor God. And so is yours. So whatever you can give it, and give it fully. And when you do that, you can just sit back and say to yourself, you're doing fine.